you have a startup firm that's not just growing, it's like exponential growth, like significant growth quickly. And he said that, you know, you're primarily, you do a lot with the pre-lit department. Of course, you guys both love going and litigating cases, and you've got that experience, and that's a differentiator because most people don't like to litigate. So I guess, in that role, working with the pre-lit and the litigators, like what kind of KPIs are you looking at? Like, how does that, how do you oversee that department? Talk to me about that role.
Yeah. So, primarily right now I'm working the pre-lit files that we have here at the firm. We've been very fortunate to partner with many referral partners, in the state and outside of the state, helping us get cases and obviously helping clients. And then, as those cases advance, right, if we are not able to get them resolved for the right dollar amount in pre-litigation, they go to litigation, which Austin kind of takes over. So, for me, one of my favorite KPIs is, you're either sending out a demand per day or you're resolving a case every single day. And soon enough, as the firm grows and the caseload starts to mature, I think we'll get to a point where myself and the other two pre-litigation attorneys that work for me will be hitting that mark every single day, right? Right. You're getting a case resolved, and then you're finding another case and you're getting a demand out. And that's a simple KPI, but it does take a mature enough caseload and enough cases that are ripe to actually be able to achieve that goal. And I think that's really what we're looking for right now. If I can have my attorneys get out, 10 to 15 new demands a month, I'm very happy with that. And then, of course, they all have banking goals, right? Average fee is a goal that, we're looking at right now in our first 10 months or so of being in business. And that's a super important goal for me. I think that's like the most reflective goal of, how good of an attorney are you on an average case? And then another KPI that I'm always looking at is time on desk. If the case has been on your desk for a year and a half, well, are we moving this case to litigation or not? What's the holdup, right? So, and we're probably too young to really have a good idea of that KPI, but it is something that we're looking at. And I know and I probably have another 10 other KPIs I look at every single day, but those are the ones that, we're trying to hit on the most, right? If you're getting a bad offer on a case and we're willing to litigate it, let's get it to Austin. Let's get it into litigation. Let's get aggressive.
Well, that's incredible that you're collecting these KPIs out of the gate. I can only imagine what 3 and 4 years looks like in terms of optimizing for those numbers. I don't know Arizona average fees. I think I had Chad Dudley on, and he made a comment that was like, just a general nationwide, and I don't know how true this is because like there's states like Maryland where the numbers are really low on average. He said something like, if your attorney fees are less than 10,000, you've got room to improve. 10 to 15 is okay. 15 to 20 is really good. Above 20K is great. Is that kind of fair, like an assessment of just overall?
Yeah, that's exactly right in line of what I would, say for Arizona. So in Arizona, the minimum state policy is 25,000, right? So if you have a case and it's a real case with real insurance and real liability, and you're helping your client out as best as you possibly can, ideally you're getting them the full case value of the policy limits of 25,000. So that would equal like an $8,000 fee for 33 1/3% contingency. So that's kind of like the marker of where I would say, average to good is. And then anything above that is great. I know for me, in doing this, kind of repeating this, starting a firm 3 years ago with Morgan & Morgan and doing it again now, I know for a fact that the average fee in the first year is usually a little bit lower. And then as more cases advance, mature, and get into litigation, the fees start to go up. And I think litigation is actually the real catalyst to moving the average fee up. Not only are you going to get better pre-litigation results, but when there is a bigger policy and your client's hurt and, deserves it, you got to litigate to get the real number. And of course that ends up impacting your average fee.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the insurance companies probably challenge newer firms just to see if they are going to litigate and maybe do things a little bit different than a firm that's been in business for 20 years or so. I'd imagine there's some aspect of that.
Yeah, and we know that, which is really, I don't know if Austin got into this at all. I didn't talk to him at all about your guys'
Yeah.
podcast before, but we've really implemented like as many AI and tech tools as we possibly can to make our processes extremely efficient. I mean, filing a complaint in our office, 3 clicks of a button, boom, boom, boom. You have all your documents prepared. It's just a matter of whether you're willing to, submit it to, Turbo Court online and get it filed or not, and really move it forward. But like, we really do make it that easy for, ourselves and our staff to generate the documents so that if we're on the phone with the insurance company and they're really giving us a hard time, within 10 minutes, we can say, okay, we put our money where our mouths is, where our mouths are, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said this, we said that, we did this. Now it's your turn to step up and do something.
That's incredible. And just your willingness to go and litigate and like, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to fight you. This isn't the correct offer. The other thing you mentioned is the time on desk. So this is one of those that, like, I'm approaching that 300th episode. It's about to go live, but this is something that's just not talked about. I think I had one episode where James Farron from over in North Carolina talked a lot about it, about the time on desk and velocity and how that impacts cash flow. Just, I guess, me being ignorant, like, what are some of the things that slow it down or create bottlenecks, and what are some of the actions you can take to speed it up?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all really starts at the intake phase, right? So, if a client gets into an accident over this past weekend and they give me a call today, obviously it's our goal to convert that client as quickly as possible, because then we have a little bit more control, right? If the client needs help, if they're looking for a doctor to help with a particular issue, we can usually find that connection and get them the help that they need, which is helpful for the case, right? If somebody, let's say, doesn't hire an attorney for 3 months, they didn't know where to go, they didn't know what to do, then of course it takes longer to get into treatment. There's a big gap in medical care. It makes the negotiation, process potentially harder on the case on the back end, because you do have those arguments going against you. So, I would think the number one thing that would, help drive the time on desk lower would be converting the intake at the time of the call, getting them set up with the proper medical treatment. And then, it's like issue spotting, right? As soon as you find out the insurance company is kind of giving you a hard time, or they're not taking your case seriously, then you just got to make a decision on it, right? Whether it's a liability issue or a mechanism of injury issue or a causation issue, zero in on the issue, figure out if you can win that issue, and then get aggressive and do something about it.